ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started. Before we bring everybody in, though, I'm going to go ahead and just kick us off. We're going to say a prayer before we get started, and then I'm going to introduce our judge. Lord, we come to you tonight, and we just thank you for this place, and we thank you for the opportunity to gather here together and glorify you. I pray for these children, Lord, and I pray that they just enjoy every moment in the ring and they would learn something here tonight. Thank you, Lord, for the help that you provided, and please keep us safe on our way home. In Jesus Christ's name we pray, amen. All right. I'd like to welcome to the ring Mr. Derek Drury. He is from San Angelo, Texas. He grew up with a diversified livestock background showing cattle, goats, and sheep. Derek was on competitive judging teams from 4-H and FFA age through college. Derek currently resides on a farm in Miles, Texas with his wife Stacy, daughter Laramie, and son Doss, where they operate Triple D Livestock. Derek has had the opportunity to judge livestock shows in over 13 states and all species. He is passionate about judging livestock, but more importantly, having the opportunity to work with today's youth in agriculture. Let's give him a big round of applause. We're very blessed to have him here. Heifer show kicking off, Class 1. Here comes Hallie Jocham. Let's give her a big round of applause. Well, evening to everybody. I'm sure glad to be back out here to work with your young people again here at the county show. And we really start off with a neat young lady's heifer here in first class of the heifer show. Female that's feminine, refined, and long-bodied. She's got some scale to her and some performance. Just a good-looking, nice young calf to come out here in Class 1. Let's give this young lady a big round of applause. We'll see her come back out in the drive here shortly. Sorry, man. How about now? See how that does. We'll tinker with it. Class 4 coming in, Zoe Webb.
bringing a heifer here into Class 2, and another single entry as we walk this one in. I think it's noticeable that the quality prevails in this young lady's heifer. Just a really elite, feminine type of a female that's really good-bodied. Young lady's done a good job of putting the feed to this one, making her real smooth in terms of her look, in terms of the way that shoulder lays into that rib. Just a really nice, functional, feminine type of a female to come in here into Class 2. Let's give this young lady a big round of applause on a job well done.
All righty. Class 5, be getting ready. Class 5, here they come. Coming in first is Kaylin Jacobs. Followed by Emily Parker. Next in is Vera Howe. Also happens to be the birthday girl. Happy birthday. Going to take a moment to thank some of our sponsors this year. Thank you to Edward Miller and Son, Palm City Sod, the Bureau of Direct Mail, Z Metalworks, Drager's Ranch, A&A Supply, Florida Hydro Seeding and Erosion Control, Real Graphics and Design, 4L Land and Cattle, Kirchman Construction, Sailfish Roofing, and In Control Landscape. Thank you guys very much for your support. We could not do it without you. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you to our sponsors.
Certainly a jump in quality lands on the first hole of this particular class. Young lady's holding on to this baldy female that's just absolutely elite in terms of ring presence and look. But with all that being said, she still covers the basics of being really big and bold in terms of that center skeleton, the stoutest in terms of that hip and pin set from hooks to pin on that female. I just absolutely love her. But then you turn around to the side, then you get that ring presence to go along with all of those things. Just a really nice female to come out here and win this class. And then we get into 2 and 3. This is where the challenge is for me. As we come in here, we break these two down. 2 different types of cattle. We've got a little bit more of an extended, high-performing type of a female that lands in second for me. Not only is she bigger framed and bigger outlined and longer bodied, but a female that's still more robust in terms of that center skeleton. When I study her right down the top side of her skeleton, she's got more curvature and angle to that rib shape as it comes directly out of that spine, especially as we compare it to the female that lands in third. Young lady, you have a really nice, productive type of female as we view her from the outside. It's when I get on the inside and I see her right over the top of her skeleton, I just want to make her a little more genuinely wide in terms of that rib shape and that dimension to her center skeleton, but a really nice functional type of female that's still going to be able to get turned out one day and be very productive for you. Nice set of heifers as a whole. Let's give all three of these young ladies a big round of applause. Nice job.
All right, congrats to our Class 5 exhibitors. First is Emily Parker, followed by Vera Howe and Kaylin Jacobs. Congrats, guys. Well done. Class 7, be getting ready. Class 7 coming in. First exhibitor in Class 7 is Haley Looning, followed by John Smith.
Well, as we organize this class and we bring these two in, both of these cattle just sit on two different sides of the spectrum. We've got one for me that just offers the functionality that a female has to have in order to go out and be productive in a big pasture setting. Young lady here on the forefront of the class has got the one that's more laid back about that blade, just a calf that's just better in terms of those feet and legs, a female that gets out there and moves while still being bold and dimensional in that center skeleton and offering that carrying capacity there for the future. A nice female to come out here and win it. Young man lands in second here with an awfully stout one, and I'd call her a man of a woman. She's so stout, she's so massive. As we get down the top side of that skeleton of this heifer, she is bold sprung, she's big in terms of back shape and muscle shape, but probably just a little bit too extreme for me. Heifer's a little bit straighter off of both ends of her skeleton and substantially coarser than what I would like her to be. A nice set of females as a whole. Let's give both of these young people a big round of applause on a job well done.
First in Class 7 is Haley Looning. And second is John Smith. Congrats, guys. You've done an excellent job. Class 7's clearing out. We're getting ready for Class 8. Class 8 in the back. Be ready. Here comes Class 8. First in is Corrine Kolinoski, followed by Parker Smith. Next in is Cassidy Otto. And the last in is Kara Kolinoski. That completes your class. Alrighty, folks, we're going to take a moment to thank a few more of our sponsors. Big thank you to Edward Miller and Son, Palm City Sod, IC Irrigation, Bosch Enterprises, Coastal Irrigation Service, Agricultural Land Services, H.E. Hill Foundation, St. Lucie Battery and Tire, Palm City, the Boat Lift Company, Bob and Jan Lines, Grindhard Ammo, Ranch Feed and Pet Supply, Tractor Supply, Blake's Well and Pump, Peters Hardware, and STS Aviation. Thank you guys very much for your support. We could not do it without y'all. Big round of applause for those sponsors.
Well, certainly a stout set of heifers that come to us again in this final class. And as we kind of start to organize the class as a judge, I put a lot of priorities in females being structurally sound. And it's quite simple for me as we break it down and we talk about functionality, toes pointing the right direction, looking like a female from the outside, and just being super functional. The young lady there on the far end of the class in the FFA jacket, she's going to go ahead and win it quite handedly for me. Young lady's got one. She's up fronted. She's up and out. She's good in terms of her angle to her shoulder. Love the way that one moves on her feet and legs. Still robust enough in terms of that center skeleton and stout enough for me. Now, obviously, maybe not the stoutest in class, but certainly a female in terms of the way she lays that muscle onto that skeleton. The most feminine one of the heavy muscled ones, I would say, lands in second. Young lady's holding on to a black heifer here that's just really, really cool in terms of that look when she's parked. I like the extra body shape and dimension this one has to the center skeleton, but she's still feminine in her own right. She still lays those things on appropriately. I like that female from a femininity standpoint. I'd like to relax her top line and just allow her to plant and push with more authority on those back wheels, and then I think she could move forward. Young lady here with this yellow heifer in third, a heifer that's really, really robust and stout. I think we saw one similar to it in the last class as far as being so wide and massive and just heavy muscled in a lot of areas. I need that one just to be better and more organized in that shoulder angle. I need her to move better for me as well as we approach that ringside walk. She just has to be able to reach and meet that stride more appropriately, especially off of those back two. Young lady here with a chromed up female in fourth. You've done a fantastic job of getting that one presented. This female's robust and stout and powerful as well. I'd like to clean her up and just make her more feminine. Great set of heifers, even better set of kiddos. Let's put our hands together for all these young people out here.
First in Class 8 is Cassidy Otto, followed by Corrine Kolinoski, Kara Kolinoski, and Parker Smith. Let's give them a big round of applause. Well done. All right, Grand Drive, here it comes. All the exhibitors that were first in your class, we're going to be bringing you back. Here comes Hallie Jockum. Coming in. Got a few more exhibitors coming in. We're getting them rounded up. Here comes Zoe Webb. Next in is Emily Parker. And here comes Haley Looning. That completes your class for your grand drive. Let's give these kids a big round of applause.
Well, it's certainly been a fun set of heifers to be able to sort through, but particularly a great group of young people that came through the show ring. Very, very good showmen as a whole. As we kind of go through here, I know I didn't spend as much time in class because we had some individual things that we went through. And I'll go ahead and give you some more critiques as we come out here and we move into the drive. Out of Class 1, young lady's got a chromed up one, a nice little young female. She's certainly feminine. She's certainly refined. She's definitely got some extension and performance to her. Young lady, that female just needs more days in order to really be a true contender in this drive for me. I want to make her more robust. I want to make her just a little bit more massive coming and going and just give her some more genuine width. But a really nice female from a basic build standpoint. Young lady out of Class 2, holding on to one that we discussed in class about just being really, really good and the way that one's muscle lays onto that skeleton. So good in terms of the way the young lady's not only getting that one presented, but the job that she's done going forward really throughout the year, just being able to get that one fed and just laying all of that fat and all of that condition on so smoothly. She looks like an absolute female out here. I just appreciate all the basic build of that one while still having some show ring presence and extension through that front 1/3. A nice female there in Class 2. We really get into some heat here in Class 3, a female that not only has all of that feminine feature, she's a showy type of a heifer from the outside, but then we get this white-headed one, really get to study her from behind, and we just appreciate how much stoutness and dimension she has. You wouldn't think that a female that's got that much presence and femininity from the side would still be that stout from behind. She accomplishes both of those goals, and she does it quite handedly. A really nice female there in Class 3. In the second place there, we talked about a pair of them in 2 and 3. That was a really tight decision for us. We landed on this red one. Young lady's holding on to that's just feminine and refined, like the body shape to that one. I got to drop her in terms of her center skeleton, give her some more softness and comfort, especially in that lower underline, in order to really be a contender in here for this particular division. So we come into the fourth class. Young lady here with the tag 60 heifer has got one that's just super functional. Covers the basics, being sound, being bold-ribbed, and still being feminine all at the same time. I don't know that she's just as extreme in terms of the look and presence through her front 1/3 as some of them out here, but I do appreciate the fact that she's functional and she's got body and functionality to her. Young man here out of the second place hole in that particular class has got one that we talked about with so much feature, and that feature being stoutness. Very, very big up in that upper hip, so stout in terms of its muscle shape, but from a femininity standpoint, I would like to improve that one. She's a little bit coarse and forward about that shoulder, and as we see her walk around ringside, we'd certainly like to loosen her up in her spine. And then we get into the final class. We talked to that female about being functional and sound and having body and dimension to her. I would like to make her a little bit stouter in this particular division. I'd like to clean her up and maybe make her just a notch more feminine in the way she presents herself through that front 1/3. Obviously, she's got a little Boss Indicans influence to her, and that comes with the territory. But those are some of the critiques that I see in those first places. And then we get into the final class in the second place in that particular division. Young lady, you got a big-bodied one. I wish she was sounder on those rear wheels for us because I think she's got the look and presence, the body and the feature that really stands out with this division, but I would like her to move better off of those rear two. nice set of heifers. This is how I see it, but there's a better group of young people out here that are deserving of a great big round of applause. If you do so at this time, I'll go out there and find you a champion in reserve.
Your grand champion is Emily Parker. And your reserve champ is Zoe Webb. Big round of applause for all these kids. Excellent job. We're very proud of you all. Alrighty, clearing out the ring, getting ready to start the steer show. Steer exhibitors, be getting ready. Almost there, folks, almost there. We are ready for you, steer exhibitors. Class 1 coming in. First in the ring is Hattie Jo Smith, followed by Cassidy Otto. Big round of applause for these kids.
Start off with our first class here in the Market Steer Show, and we really got a lot of trade-offs between two calves that are totally different in terms of type and kind. Young lady that's going to start it for me, though, brings the most muscle shape while still being functional enough in terms of that skeleton. This red one for me, as I study that one down the top side of its skeleton, that one's burly and shapely and expressive as it meets my hand, the fullest and most dimensional down the top side of its skeleton. I get in behind that one. I still like the stoutness that it offers in terms of that hooks to pins, as well as the dimension through that center stifle. That calf gets out and goes still. I'd certainly like it to be deeper and fuller in terms of that rib and flank. Calf in second is definitely an improvement as far as depth and dimension as we study that one from the side. I like that one in that regard. I would like to change him a little bit structurally up front. Calf sitting a little bit forward in the angle to that shoulder. He's a little bit coarser as well because of it, and I need that calf to balance up better. He's not as massive off the back side of that skeleton, especially compared to the front side. If we can get some extra stoutness into that one as he goes away from me, I think there's still an opportunity for him to move forward for me. Nice pair of calves. Let's give both of these young ladies a big round of applause.
First in Class 1 is Hattie Jo Smith. And second is Cassidy Otto. Big round of applause for these kids. Well done. We're going to clear the arena and get ready for Class 2. Class 2 coming in. Class 2, here comes Emma Nelson. Followed by Ava Radford.
Really a neat pair of calves when we get these calves on the standstill and we're able to view them on the profile. Both of these things really match up quite nicely. I think both of them have some features that I'd appreciate maybe matching them up and putting them together, but really a nice pair of them. The one that leads it for me is the one that really looks elite when he's on the park. Calf that's really good fronted, bold center body, big hip in that guy. Like the stoutness, like the muscle, still meets my hand really honest as well. I need to change him, though, on those pasterns. He's really wanting to stand up on those toes and really pop and lock as he goes and moves around that ring. If we could change that about him, I'd really like that calf quite a bit. Those are some of the issues that he's going to provide for us later on down the road. Calf right here in second. Another calf that's bold and robust and powerful and honest in terms of the muscle shape that this one carries. We see this one from the side. He's a little quicker pattern in terms of being shorter, in terms of his length of body. He's a little bit lower to the ground, maybe even a little smaller footed in that process, and not quite as extreme in that look of extension up front. But what he's good at is muscle shape and density. Front to back on this guy, he's so stout and so full and honest and firm in terms of his touch. I like those things about him. He, too, has got some struggles in his own right as far as those pasterns. He wants to sit up on those toes, especially that back left for me. Just had some complications with both of these guys from a structural standpoint. But when we get them parked, a pair that really match up quite nicely for having a lot of muscle and power and density to the pair. Nice pair of calves. Even better group of young ladies. Let's put our hands together for these two young people out here.
First in Class 2 is Ava Radford. And second is Emma Nelson. Congrats, guys. Well done. Clearing out the ring. Class 3, be getting ready in the back. Coming in for Class 3 is Colin Jockum. Followed by Carly Jockum. Sibling showdown.
Another nice set of calves that walk into this one with the sibling rivalry, and I think maybe some calves that might even be some sibs somewhere along the way. Pair of calves that really match up quite handedly. Kind of hard to split the hairs on this particular class because I think we've got some advantages and as well as some disadvantages that maybe are similar. Calf up front for me, though. This is the one that starts bigger in terms of its shape and dimension, especially whenever I get down the top side of that one skeleton. Young man's holding on to one that just starts a little stouter right there at the top of its shoulder and from there back while still being functional on his skeleton. A calf that's built bolder in terms of that full rib shape today is also the one that's got that foundation for the extra product up top. A calf that I would like to change maybe ever so slightly, drop his rib and flank in order to balance him up from the profile. Young lady here in second has got one that looks to be the stouter one as we view it from the outside because he's got so much more depth and dimension to him, but it's when I get on top of him that he just drops that depth without really pulling his rib apart and being as bold sprung in that regard. If I'd match that one with the amount of dimension that the young man has ahead of you, then I think that would set the foundation for more product and dimension, but that's where he sacrifices the most today. This too could be improved in terms of that depth and dimension, especially as we get back into that flank and maybe clean up that front 1/3, but a nice pair of calves that offer some genuine width and functionality to them. Let's give these two young people a big round of applause.
First in Class 3 is Colin Jockum, and second is Carly Jockum. Well done, kids. We're very proud of you. Class 4, be getting ready. Class 4, let's roll. We're ready for you. First in the ring is Emily Parker. Followed by Savannah Sheltra. And next in is Gretchen Howe. Big round of applause for these kids.
Another fun set of calves to be able to work through. And, you know, we get a pair of them that land on the top side that really have just an elite presence and quality to them as far as the show ring look that they provide. There's one that does a better job of being more honest in terms of its width and dimension from the ground up. That's going to be the young lady with the white calf on the forefront of the class. As I study livestock, I was always taught to study them from the foundation and look at their build at the ground and then study them from there up. This thing's a spitting image in terms of the reflection that it offers down at the base of that one skeleton with a big foot and bone and a really wide base width. And then you get to the top side of his skeleton, and he's just as wide and just as robust and just as stout. And he does all of those things without sacrificing that show ring presence from the profile. A calf that's still good fronted, a calf that's still good in terms of his top line, and still moves around the ring good enough for me. Calf that lands in second, this thing is really, really neat to look at from the side. When that animal is parked, that calf is so elite in terms of the way he pulls that neck out of the top side of that shoulder and stretches it out all the way through his nose. That calf that's just so cool fronted and his projection of look through that front 1/3. His top line's great in that animal. When on the park, and that calf is still stout when you get in behind him. I like the fact that he's a notch more honest as he leaves me from hock to ground. That calf stays a little squarer and truer in terms of the way that he handles that rear leg as compared to our first place calf, but he's not as genuinely wide, especially in his lower forerib for me and his overall base width as we compare it to the calf ahead of you. And I would like to ease him up in his top line ever so slightly when we get him on the move. But a really neat pair there to land on the top side of this class. Nothing to take away from your calf, young lady. Got a Hereford calf that stands in front of me that's robust and stout, and at the ground we've got big feet and legs on us. He's genuinely not as wide as we compare him to the calves ahead of you. I want to stouten him up in terms of his base width specifically, give him more rib shape and overall volume of muscle. As I get my hands onto that calf, he's maybe not as bold sprung and massive to the touch, but what I appreciate about him is that he puts the most cover down to his 12th and 13th. I like the fact that you've put a lot of feed into that one and that you put good condition on him as well. Nice set of calves as a whole. Let's give all these young people a great big round of applause. Nice pair on the top end.
First in Class 4 is Emily Parker. Second is Savannah Sheltra. And third is Gretchen Howe. Big round of applause for these kids. Well done. Very proud of y'all. Clearing out the ring. Class 5. Class 5, be getting ready. We're ready for you, Class 5. We are ready. First in the ring is Vera Howe, followed by John Smith. Big round of applause for these kids. Big thank you to our sponsors, Edward Miller & Son, Palm City Sod, the Bureau of Direct Mail, Z Metalworks, Driggers Ranch, A&A Supply, Florida Hydro Seeding and Erosion Control, Real Graphics and Design, 4L Land and Cattle, Kirschman Construction, Sailfish Roofing, and In Control Landscape. Thank you guys very much for your support. We could not do it without you.
Pair of calves step into the ring in the heavyweights, and certainly got some weight on both of these calves, maybe even a little outside of the box of where we're supposed to be, but there's one that still offers that freshness and youthfulness for me. Young lady over here in the green jacket, you're going to win the class rather handedly for me. A calf that's really, really bold sprung in terms of its upper rib shape, really meets my hand with such a youthful, fresh, expressive shape, front to back down the top side of that animal. So honest and true, too, as he leaves me. Still flexible as he goes. Calf that I would maybe like to ease up in his top line as he moves around ringside. He does want to kind of tuck his hips and pins ever so slightly. If we could change those things about him, I think another unique one that could maybe tie in to some of those other calves that we've seen previously in classes. Calf that rolls into second here. Tough spot to land in second because he's a calf that's got a lot of feature to him. When you study this one at the ground, similar to our class winner from the last class, this guy has got all that feature that we're after as far as foot and bone and stoutness at the ground. He starts so wide, and he still projects that mass down to the top side of his skeleton. He's missing some of that shape, though, as he goes into the center portion of it. He's not as bold and robust in terms of that forerib, especially into his lower rib. I want that calf just to be softer. At 1,600 pounds, I'd sure like him to be handling smoother, too, through his 12th and 13th. And a calf that struggles will maybe just ever so slightly off of those rear wheels for me. Nice pair of them, though, that offer a lot of feature to them. Let's give both of these young people a great big round of applause on a job well done.
First in Class 5 is Vera Howe. And second is John Smith. Congrats, guys. Well done. We're going to be bringing in the class winners from each class now for our grand drive. Coming in now is Hattie Jo Smith, followed by Ava Radford. Next in is Colin Jockum. And last in is Emily Parker. If you're excited for this grand drive, I want to hear you make some noise. One last opportunity to thank our sponsors this year. Big thank you to Edward Miller & Son, Palm City Sod, IC Irrigation, Bosch Enterprises, Coastal Irrigation Service, Agricultural Land Services, H.E. Hill Foundation, St. Lucie Battery and Tire, Palm City, the Boat Lift Company, Bob and Jan Lines, Grind Hard Ammo, Ranch Feed and Pet Supply, Tractor Supply, Blake's Well and Pump, Peters Hardware, and STS Aviation. Thank you guys. One big round of applause one last time for our sponsors. Go out there and support them, folks. We could not do it without them. Thank you again.
Well, it's certainly been a fun cattle show to be able to come through and sort both heifers as well as the quality that lands out here at the steer show. And as we organize the lineup, obviously we've got kind of a tight ring out here with a lot of cattle in it, so we kind of lined up things a little bit differently in order to make sure that we gave the kids maybe a little more space this round. But a really nice set of calves that land out here. I talked these maybe a little more in depth than the heifers, as we had several in those classes, and so we explained those differences. I'm not going to do so at this time. There's a pair of calves that fit me quite well, the calves that offer quality and look while still having the basics of being sound, functional types of cattle that have body and rib and dimension and muscle shape to go along with them. A nice pair of them that are going to land at the top. But I certainly don't want to leave without saying thank you again for you guys for the invitation to come back out here. Y'all have got a great set of volunteers to put this show together, and they're very deserving of a big round of applause. And I'll leave you with one last thing, and things are tough whenever you go into the cattle show ring or any show ring for that matter, and things don't always pan out the way you want them to. And it's one guy's opinion on one day and with one mic, and that's the end of the day. So as you come out here and you're able to compete and things like this, one thing that I'll say is always be appreciative. There's people that surround you and support you and all this stuff, and you're going to go in front of a different guy, a different day, and a different year, and he's going to sort them a whole lot different than what I would. There's a great set of calves out here, but an even better set of young people. Please put your hands together for all the young people that came through the cattle show ring. I'll go show you your champion in reserve. Well said.
Your grand champion is Emily Parker. And your reserve champ is Savannah Sheltra. Big round of applause for all these kids. Thank you guys again for coming out tonight. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night, same time, Swine Showmanship. Swine Showmanship tomorrow night, 7 o'clock.
The Treasure Coast Agriplex, a premier agricultural education facility, a new concept in fairgrounds to serve our community, operated by the Martin County Fair Association, a 501c3 nonprofit. This new concept perfectly accommodates the annual fair and is a multi-use facility for events year-round. Located in Indiantown, Florida, a 15-minute drive from Interstate 95 and the Florida Turnpike, it's a multi-use expo center, good for large sporting events, high school graduations, even emergency sheltering. Facing the Midway sits a 2,500-seat amphitheater hosting top-notch musical entertainment, featuring everything from rock and roll and country to symphony orchestras, with additional lawn seating for more than 5,000 concertgoers. Man-made lakes and piers make for good fishing, RC watercrafting, and relaxation. The Historical Village is an important attraction. It's home to the Model Railroaders Club, an agricultural museum with live demonstrations by time-honored craftsmen like blacksmiths, beekeepers, and others. Let's not forget the main attraction, the Agland Farm. 10 acres that showcase the future of agriculture and innovations in farming. This will be a center of excellence offering hands-on experience in animal care, urban farming, vertical farming, organics, gardening, and the ecosystem. Rising food costs and food security prove it's more important than ever to teach children about where our food comes from, demonstrating through many exhibits about agriculture, research, and advancements. It also includes an equestrian center, livestock center, archery center, and BMX, motocross, and monster trucks. There are many outdoor activities to keep kids interested and a place that has something for everyone. Now this is important. The Agriplex will serve more than 50 nonprofits, a true community resource. Remember, your generosity and the future of agriculture go hand in hand.